This is the ZX Spectrum, a small, very cheap computer that's found its way into more homes in Britain than any other. Now, there are many, many games designed for the ZX, but not many quite like this one. Ever since some real-life insects sabotaged an early computer, the word bug has been used to mean a problem in a program. This wickedly clever little game shows what bugs are all about. The sentences you see are the lines of a real computer program. Each flashing letter marks a gap in the program. Micromouse is out to plug those gaps. Bug monsters try and walk all over him, and frequently succeed. There's just one letter left to fit in. Go on, pal. Go for it. Go on, pal. Once the letter's in, the program's complete, and it tells the computer to do something spectacular. This ingenious and educational game is called Micromouse Goes Debugging. It's from MC Lothlorien and runs on the ZX Spectrum. Good, eh? Now, as opposed to one-armed bandits and such like, computer games don't normally try and make you think that you might actually win a lot of money from them. But this next one not only deludes you into thinking that you've got £200, but it then promptly takes it all straight back again. This cheeky chappie is Honest Clive, the bookmaker. Any resemblance to Clive Sinclair, the inventor of the Spectrum computers, is purely deliberate. You're off to the races, you've got £200 in your pocket, and it's time to place your bets. There's my nag on the far side at number 2, Mr. Spit. Believe me, my sons, this one is a dead cert. Grand National is an unusual and exciting game from Computer Rentals. Up to 5 players can play, and you can make the odds on the horses longer, shorter, or make them up. It runs on the ZX Spectrum. Come on, Mr. Spit, go on, look at him go. He's catching the leader. Come on, Mr. Spit, come on, come on. Stupid nag. A particularly atmospheric and absorbing game is called the Skull. You find yourself in a strange three-dimensional maze dotted with shimmering gold pieces, green crosses, and bronze coins. You move on to these treasures to pick them up, and the idea is to collect as much treasure and points as you can without losing your lives. Oh, and try and watch out for the trapdoors. The colourful and creepy Skull is from Games Machine. It runs on the 48K Spectrum and will be out soon for the Commodore 64 and other home computers. One thing to remember is that the Skull can be deadly. It's very hard to put your finger on computer games. They're a bit like films. They're usually fun to watch. They're a bit like books. There's usually some sort of plot to unravel. They owe a lot to board games, but they owe a lot more to fairgrounds, mazes, and age-old puzzles. They're something new, and they're extremely hard to classify. I mean, what on earth would you call anything as completely balmy as this? This is the amazing Manic Miner on a seemingly impossible quest. The miner has to dodge and outwit all kinds of loony nasties, such as poisonous pansies, those rabid toilet pans, and of course the mutant telephones. Mutant telephones? Well, Manic Miner is a gamer's game full of weird in-jokes. It's also a sequence of brain-teasing tests, each an ace computer game in its own right. And every now and then you get a terrible sinking feeling as the floor crumbles beneath you. This wickedly clever game gives you 3 lives, and at the end of your 3rd life, you get the boot. Manic Miner is from Software Projects and is available on the Commodore 64 and the ZX Spectrum. But a game doesn't have to be so complicated. Rommel's Revenge simply transforms you from a 7-stone weakling sitting in your armchair into a 7-stone weakling driving a tank. The more tanks you blow up, the more points you get. That round thing up there is your radar screen, and if you see any dots, then enemy tanks are near. These three-dimensional effects are one of the most distinctive features of Rommel's Revenge, which is from crystal computing for the ZX Spectrum. You get the sense of moving up to distant objects, and bits of odd-looking scenery are useful cover for an ambush. A fat lot of good that is, however, if an enemy tank sneaks up the other side of you. Well, even Rommel had his off days. But of course, not all computer games are stuffed full of graphics. With some of them, there's not a single picture to be seen. Instead, you find yourself in the middle of a baffling adventure story where you've absolutely no idea where you are, no idea quite where you're going, and no idea what grinning, grisly, long-haired monster is waiting for you at the end of some long, dark tunnel. And in the middle of all that, somebody asks you a question. Yes, I do want that silver knife because I've got a funny feeling that something nasty is on its way. This is Volcanic Dungeon, a classic adventure game in which you try to rescue an elfin princess imprisoned in a crystal coffin deep within a volcano. Carnell, who invented this addictive slice of fantasy, have also concocted this. This is the Kingdom of Beroth, first of 6 awesome adventures in the mighty computer quest called Black Crystal. You have to fight so fast it's almost impossible to keep track of what's going on. But since a flying lizard has glutted itself on my remains, I think I may have lost. And if you do finally master the amazing difficulties of playing that game, you go into a new adventure in a creepy place called the Castle of Shadows. Now, when you get out of there, you have to find your way around the Shaggoth's lair, the Temple of the Fire Demon, and at last you get into the Tower of Beroth, where lies the evil Black Crystal. Now, to destroy the evil Black Crystal, you have to surround it with the rings you've collected in the course of your other adventures. You're confused. Imagine how I feel. And Carnell aren't finished yet. Now they've come up with the Wrath of Margra. Margra is the Witch of the Black Mountains, and you have to use magic spells to win through this adventure. The game has split-screen, high-resolution graphics. Time plays an important part. When night falls, you know that horrible things are going to happen. You should also watch out for these, a staggering total of over 100 weapons that you can use in your quest. Everything from a spiritual sword to vampire bat saliva. Volcanic Dungeon, Black Crystal and the Wrath of Margra are all in the Third Continent series from Carnell Software. The people who make computer games are continually trying to improve old ideas and dream up new ones. But every once in a while, along comes a new game which marks a complete breakthrough and sets the standard for a whole new generation of software. Valhalla is the latest such game. It's based loosely on old Viking tales with a cast of gods, giants, dragons, and a funny-looking black raven. The really special thing about Valhalla is that the story unfolds whether you do anything or not, like an epic film which you can step into and become part of. At the moment in this epic film, I appear to be getting killed by a god called Boldir. There are 6 adventures you can embark on, each one a quest for a special object hidden in the game world. When you die, you don't just die, you actually go to hell, which looks a bit like Basingstoke. Valhalla, a truly unique fantasy adventure game, is from Legend for the 48K Spectrum and Commodore 64. This is Caesar the Cat, a game so brilliantly animated that it's fun to watch, let alone play. Here it's running in a new version for the ZX Spectrum. Originally, Caesar was available only on the Commodore 64. Let's have a look at that earlier version. Same cat, same idea, but different computer. Caesar is a moggy in a well-stocked larder who tries to keep a band of hungry mice from the food. But if you're not careful, Caesar only succeeds in making a hole in the best family crockery. You lose points every time he knocks over a dish, but you gain points every time he catches a mouse. This graphic masterpiece is from Mirrorsoft and is for the Commodore 64. The Spectrum version will be out soon.